Malibu told a news reporter he was discharged from the military in 2010 after an IED blew up in his face in Afghanistan. Is there any reason you don't want to tell me anything? And yeah, he just thumbs up my thing and started talking about the photographer again and didn't interact with it at all.
Today we're talking about MalibuFitMaxx. Why are we talking about him? Because there's controversy. Because if there wasn't controversy, I would have just kept scrolling. I'm going to be upfront. I'm a MalibuFitMaxx hater. I don't get the appeal. People cite positive, infectious personality. In my experience, corporate gym culture is overflowing with guys like this, guys that are on a decent amount of gear to have something like a good physique. He's muscular. Let's not throw around the term good. Guys that are positive, nice guys, maybe even fun to be around, but fundamentally don't really have anything to contribute, don't really know what they're talking about. And I don't find anything about him really that interesting or creative. And on top of that, I'm just always skeptical of people that come in out of nowhere. I have only seen a couple of things from him because he's only been around for 4 weeks. He has 1.2 million subs, almost all of which he got in the last 4 weeks. And now there's some controversy about claims that he survived an IED while being deployed. So let's get into it. This was the OG Bromley tee. When I started working with Barbell Apparel, I was so proud of how this came out and nobody else liked it. But I still wear it. I love it. It means a lot to me. You know, it was the first shirt I ever got my name on. I thought that was really cool. But since then, I've just had a great relationship with Barbell Apparel. And I've told you over and over about their pants and sweats and jeans are the most comfortable shit that any lifter who could squat his way out of a paper bag could actually wear in day-to-day life. And once again, face made for radio, head made for hats. I have probably 10 different sets of Barbell Apparel hats and I absolutely love them. So if you're going to go to the gym today, I guess you could participate in the decline of Western civilization by wearing a wife beater and the Elmo pajama bottoms like so many of the I woke up like this lazy Gen Z hipsters are now doing. Or you can signal to the rest of the gym that, nah, I got actual shit to do, but I also have standards about how I look while I am performing said shit. And you can lift in absolute comfort. So go to barbellapparel.com, use code Bromley. They're going to throw you every month it's something different. Free hat, free shorts with code Bromley with your purchase. So go there right now. Link is below. First, charting the growth, we have a handful of bodybuilding pics, really mundane shots of him at the gym, this posing. If Japan made a movie about Street Fighter, this is how I imagine they would cast Ken. 4 weeks ago, this video, for some reason, inexplicably got 18,000 likes. Now, maybe it's because this was the long-awaited Mickey Rourke and Rich Piana collab. That's entirely possible. Finally gave the people what they wanted. But there's also a lot of mention about him being a veteran, and that's probably fueled the virality that he got in the last month. The follow-up video makes a bit more sense for amassing a lot of views. I could see people sharing this around. You know, he's kind of goofing off, being fun and silly and doing the bottle flip thing, and people seem to like his personality. And again, it probably helped his exposure that he looks like a Korean James Franco doing an impression of Anna Faris. But we got 122,000 likes for this free water bottle video.
Right there, someone doesn't want it. Hey, anybody want a free water bottle? You want one? No, I gotta put lots of pounds.
God, I fucking hate social media. This makes me miss V-Shreds. This doesn't even make sense. And people look to influencers like this for a lot of things. They look to them for inspiration, for motivation, for entertainment, but also for education, and it all kind of overlaps. But as you would expect, a seemingly middle-aged dude working at Crunch Fitness, his takes on lifting aren't the greatest.
A lot of people get their tempo wrong. They really focus on the concentric part, they're pushing really hard. The negative part where it's the resistance training, we're coming down real fast, letting gravity do all the work. 1, 2, you're matching concentric with the eccentric. That's how I got to here.
There's like 9 things wrong with that. Like, eccentric work is fine, it has its place, but to say that's how I got to here, it's like, brother, that's not how you got to there. Like, I hate to say it. And then you got this gem.
So the cool thing about fat, though, is you can lose up to 5 pounds a week.
5 pounds a week, bro? Oh my God. I mean, this guy's supposedly a combat veteran. I'm getting fucking PTSD watching this from the years that I worked at LA Fitness as a personal trainer 2 decades ago, because this was the entire vibe. The entire sales force and training force was filled with people like this who were tangentially involved in fitness, and maybe they were athletic or good looking, or maybe they weren't, they were just charismatic. And this is how they would sell training packages. And all day, every day, my ears would be treated to nuggets of wisdom like this. So yeah, maybe I'm jaded, but this is not endearing to me. This is what you guys have been complaining about nonstop. His physique, his aesthetic is almost entirely a byproduct of hormones. But because he smiles and shows his top row of teeth a lot, you guys are like, oh man, yeah, he seems like a good guy. And we see how much the military aspect is playing into it. You got a guy saying, I apologize for a previous comment. Maybe he made fun of his upper lip or his fucking West Coast Botox face. Maybe he made a joke about the stupid shit he was giving for advice on his Instagram feed. What a turn we've experienced. We're back to longing for information from the steroid-enhanced middle-aged trainer at Crunch Fitness. Unbelievable. But he's positive, guys. Now, my involvement with this guy came because we were sitting on the couch, me and my wife, scrolling YouTube on our TV, because that's a modern lifestyle that we lead. And this guy came across our feed. And I asked what a lot of people ask. Why does his face look like that? Is that his face? Like, I want to see what he looks like beforehand. And my wife on her phone said something to the effect of, oh, he was in an accident overseas. Apparently an IED blew up in his face. And that was kind of offered up as the explanation for the way his face is now. It wasn't explicitly stated that he lost literally all of his skin in an accident overseas and had his face replaced with Goldie Hawn's. You're just kind of left to fill in the blanks. Now, I am not myself a plastic surgeon, but I have seen every episode of Nip Tuck twice, and I do follow an unreasonable amount of people online who have suffered some facial mutilation. If this was in fact the byproduct of facial reconstruction, I would expect to see scars, pigmentation differences, asymmetries. This isn't like Mission Impossible or Face Off. You guys remember Face Off? Man, it was a better time back then. It's not like you can just pull somebody's face over yours and it just settles in and looks perfect. When you get surgeries or procedures done, it's just very lopsided. There's weird swelling. The skin grafts they use, the skin almost always looks different. The texture's different. There's some evidence of some procedure having been done, and that's not what this looked like. This just looked like a guy with a weird face that got too much plastic surgery. I also recognized something else that was distinctly Southern California West Coast, and that is the surfer face. If you've ever spent enough time on the beaches in and around Malibu or San Diego or that area, you know that this type of like frozen smile or smirk, upper lip stuck up towards the nose, constantly exposing the top row of teeth, paired with that idiosyncratic surfer tone, that very Bill and Ted way of speaking. We also refer to it as resting dumb face. I feel like Australia has a lot of that. When I think Australian, I think of top row teeth. I don't know why I think that, but I feel very strongly about it. So at this point, I feel like I know who this guy is. I've been around a lot of people like this, but there's this strange question about the IED to the face. It doesn't really track. Now, if at this point you think, Bromley, you're just a fat, patchy-faced ginger hater that's mad that this guy has more subs than you, you are absolutely right. I led the video with that. I am, in fact, a MalibuFitMaxx hater. However, don't just take my word for it, because as you yourself go down the MalibuFitMaxx rabbit hole, you are going to find the plot does indeed thicken. Your favorite internet sleuth, GOOB, recently put out a Instagram Reels that says MalibuFitMaxx stolen valor? ? Well, let's see.
And a question was posed to me about 2 weeks ago where they sent me his profile and they said, hey, this guy, MalibuFitMaxx, used to have IED survivor in his bio. He very recently removed it. Do you know why, John? Malibu told a news reporter that in 2010 is when this happened. He was discharged from the military in 2010 after an IED blew up in his face in Afghanistan. That's what he said, 2010. I also need to show you what Malibu was doing in 2010. Hold on. In June 17th of 2010, date right here, he competed in this bodybuilding show. Assuming that this is the same Lee Markham, he placed third in the lightweight category. In October of 2010, here's him at a speaking engagement that his father posted on his father's YouTube channel. We know this is him because 1, well, it looks just like him, and 2, he commented 15 years ago, first, from the username Malibu Markham. Lee Markham is his real name. I want you to listen to some of the content that he said during this lecture.
I actually graduated this semester from University of Maryland.
So in 2010, he competed in a bodybuilding show in July, did a speaking arrangement in October, graduated from the University of Maryland, and at some other point in 2010 survived an IED to the face.
And I just got to point out, once again, the top row teeth. That's not IED related, folks. This is a race of people that are all descended from the same line of dirtbag beachgoers, and California is fucking filled with them.
Well, news articles posted on the day that they all returned home from deployment, the 293rd MP Company. They do mention injuries in this very article from that MP coming back. That prior homecoming article makes no mention of a Lee Markham. It does mention this man, Stephen Markham, who received a Purple Heart and was injured during that explosion. And now in one of the phone calls, a FaceTime that I had with somebody that was in the 293rd and had deployed on that deployment, when I asked about people that were injured, he immediately rattled off all 4 names, the injuries and days that they were injured, to crazy detail. And I said, how do you know? How are you so specific about this? And he told me when somebody gets hurt, it's a big deal. They offer, I guess, mental health counseling to them the day after. There's a whole thing. They make a big to-do of it. And when they get back, these people are celebrated and they're given Purple Hearts. So he said he would never forget that. So I guess that just goes as far to say that it would be very difficult for Lee to have been injured on that battalion and that guy and the others not know about it. So this just leaves a lot.
So what's best case scenario here? Best case scenario is that maybe he was there and he wasn't very memorable, and maybe he was involved in IED explosion that affected the other guys, but maybe he wasn't seriously injured. Maybe he was being hyperbolic, IED to the face, like he was right there when it went off, like in his face. Is it possible? Can I give the benefit of the doubt that maybe he didn't mean to portray himself as an injured vet, but surviving an IED experience with his company is something that did happen? Maybe. But it seems that there is a narrative that he is somewhat involved in, that he did in fact get injured overseas. I'm just happy I solved the mystery of his face. He just always looked like that. I was born and raised in San Diego, lived in 5 different states throughout my youth, and I've traveled quite a bit. I have a really good sense of the different species of American that populate different geographical regions. And aside from like the sunglasses and the long bleach blonde hair, the type of uncanny facial features that he has are very indicative of like LA or West Coast plastic surgery culture. A smooth face, frozen in time with lack of pliability, the bloated duck lips, the frozen muscles around the cheek and mouth that normally emote and give expression, the high cheekbones puffed up with filler that look like the swelling you would see in a transplant patient who's experiencing rejection. You add in a bunch of orals that soften you up. You add in the type of plastic surgery that's available to crunch fitness trainers in the greater Los Angeles region. Case closed.
I'd reach out and ask from the man himself. He replied, "Appreciate it, bro, but I'm struggling already. Thank you for what you did for me," referring to the photographer. "In good time, everyone will see the doc. Every night is a struggle to sleep again, and it's so overwhelming dealing with my last videographer, and now I'm down to hardly any content. I'm a positive guy, but damn, it's getting difficult." To which I replied, "If I were you, I'd be screaming my truth to the top of my lungs to anyone that would listen, especially someone like me. I could give it great coverage. Is there any reason you don't want to tell me anything?" And yeah, he just thumbs up my thing and started talking about the photographer again and didn't interact with it at all. He didn't even answer my question, just said thank you again for the photographer help.
Well, that doesn't look very good, does it? And we get more of a sense of who this guy is. He's saying, man, it's getting hard, as he's in the first month of the most meteoric rise that I think anybody's ever seen on social media. And this month, he's gotten recognition, he's got a following of loving and loyal fans, and he's probably making a lot more money on social media than he is at his job at Crunch Fitness. But when he's asked a very straightforward question about his history that people are uncertain about, he goes straight to, I'm struggling, it's hard, depression, I'm on meds, I'm having trouble sleeping. Basically, I'm too fragile for you to ask questions, so don't be a buzzkill. And this is one of the reasons why I fucking despise the positivity affectation, because it's such a superficial type of expression. Positivity is not a principle. Positivity isn't substantive. And the people that learn that they can just glue that permanent smile on their face and get a permanent reaction from other people, they're very often struggling with other things that you just don't see underneath the surface. And he very well may be actually struggling with those things. It's also just as likely that the people that emote positivity use it as a way to get around a lot of the failures that they have throughout their life. I've just met countless people that were dysfunctional to their core, but they figured out a superficial affectation that's just appealing enough to other people where they continuously get a pass. And this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I don't care because I worked that job. The people that cycle in and out of corporate gym trainer and trainer salespeople positions are not overwhelmingly the most functioning, productive people on the planet. It tends to be the same group of people that are just as likely to work at a used car lot or work at a kiosk at the mall. Again, nothing wrong with it from an individual standpoint, but if I'm taking experience over a broad group of people, let's just say that if you are in fact the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time around, if any of you have ambition or want an otherwise stable life, you don't want to spend too much time around that group of people. So yeah, this was an obvious dodge to a straightforward question. There's nothing about the timeline of events that makes it seem like he did in fact suffer injury overseas. And it kind of sucks if it was just a little bit of hyperbole, or if it is some experience he had. If I'm giving him the best case scenario where he got big and he did take it out of his bio. Think like, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. But that's something that you very easily address right up front. And this type of avoidance and dodging, oh, we'll address it next month. That's the type of shit that's associated with people that tend to get themselves in worse trouble than the situation actually merited. So to summarize this video, I am a MalibuFitMaxx hater. Doesn't seem to be an especially inspirational, principled, or dare I say intelligent person. And it looks like he's gotten himself in a lot of hot water by representing himself as having experienced something that he didn't. But let's just look past that. He's smiling, he's having a good time. And boy, doesn't that just help me get my day started right. Jesus Christ, I had the video done, and as soon as I was uploading it, GOOB posted an update. So this is maybe the conclusion to the drama. Let's get into it.
Scrolling, it was not an IED. Let's cut right to the chase. This is his GD214. It shows that he was deployed to Afghanistan 2009, July 31st to 2010, July. In his decorations, medals, and badges, right up here, it does not mention a Purple Heart. He has a lot of general awards and medals here, but he does not have a Purple Heart, which is something that you would expect to see there if he were wounded in combat and took an IED to the face. It says that his assignment was 293rd Military Police Company. We know this belongs to Lee Markham because it says his name right here, Lee Peter Markham. I blocked his address out, but the address matches the one in his background check. So here's his GD214. He was overseas, but it doesn't mention an injury. It doesn't mention an IED. But what do his medical records say? Well, here it is, guys. Here's the medical record from the incident that Lee Markham is characterized as an IED to the face. Let me read. The patient is a 26-year-old male. Source of patient information was patient. 26 male complaining of chipped front tooth, lip, and forehead laceration from fall. A friend reports that patient was drinking and fell near Camp Cournier, his barracks. He did lose consciousness after falling. Name at the bottom, Lee Peter Markham. So, ladies and gentlemen, when MalibuFitMaxx says that he sustained an IED blast to the face, like he said right here, I survived an IED to the face while serving overseas, and it used to say right here in his bio, survivor of IED to the face, don't try that at home, folks. It was just a big misunderstanding. What he meant to say was he got really drunk while stationed in Korea in 2006 and fell down before his deployment ever happened and fucked his face up. See, this is 13th November 2006, that's 6:26 KST. He's in Korea when this happened. He is not in Afghanistan. He is not on a deployment, and he just got wasted and fell down. That's the IED. Way to fucking go, MalibuFitMaxx. You played with...
So there you go. My instinct was right. It always is. You have never met somebody who's better at judging character off of the most superficial engagement as me. People that say don't judge a book by their cover are fucking losers. This has got to be a world record for meteoric rise to meteoric crash. But if there's one thing I've learned on the internet, it's when people like somebody's vibe, when they like the cut of their jib, principal expectation standards tend to go out the fucking window. I wouldn't be surprised if he persists as a person who gets some type of following for the near future. And of course, we got to go to the comments because there's people that are saying the obvious shit, you know, what a shame, why would you do this, what a clown, blah, blah, blah. But then, of course, you got the bootlickers. Did he lie? Yeah. Is he a genuinely good dude who is spreading positive vibes in an industry that is wildly toxic and full of people who are genuinely making society worse? Also, yeah, call it a wash. And of course, what do we see up here? We see resting dumb face, protecting resting dumb face. These images completely speak for themselves. Judging books by their covers. Looks like he's best friends with, this looks like the power couple in the sociology department at the local junior college. The fact that he used both vibes and toxic in the same sentence while defending somebody who lied about getting injured overseas while still describing him as a genuinely good dude. Please believe me when I say that people that rely on vibes and positivity are not good people. They're not principled people. These people are disasters in their own life. You pair it with an Instagram feed that looks like clips taken from the trailer of a new HBO dramedy. It is all of the superficiality and dysfunction underneath the surface that you would expect from any reality TV show. Oh, we got Paul Carter. Dude is cooked. Literally lied about something no vet should lie about. And let's spare the fanboy BS of, well, he puts out positive content. Who cares? Dude built 1 million+ following off a lie. Absolutely shameful. That's a Paul Carter W right there. I judge Paul Carter harshly on a lot of different things. I've had words with him myself, but this is absolutely right. Whether or not he's cooked, I don't know. But the fact that there will be people making excuses for him, I mean, Liver King still has a following, for fuck's sake. So that's the absolute state of things. But I'm just happy we got to the bottom of this. Hopefully Goob holds off of uploading anything until tomorrow so I can actually post this goddamn video.